And here's the thing, in this relationship, it should be predominantly a positive relationship. But I have had times where I needed to call somebody and go, you're not going to, I just got my lunch handed to me.
Absolutely.
Because it's lonely, man. Sales is a lonely deal most of the time. When you're out there, you're on the road, or you're typically not going to an appointment with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a you get rejection. Anytime you've got rejection and loneliness, that's a hard deal. That's why most people don't make it in sales, with those two factors.
I was just thinking, I don't know why I just thought of this, some saying. Remember that saying was like sales is a contact sport? You remember that? You remember people saying that? No. You know, contact thinking like physical, but it's a contact as in like one-on-one interaction. No. Okay.
Deep thoughts.
Our vow and our philosophy. The sales wolves hustle hard, it's our policy. We create economies, crushing anomalies. Came in this world to dominate with no apologies. Gotta get it till the day that we cease to breathe. Sales wolves got the tools that you know you need. Real lessons, confessions of what it really means to go from nothing to something and everything between. Married in the game and we took vows. Gonna get it poppin', yeah, when you hear them wolves howl. When you hear them wolves howl. Yeah, when you hear them wolves howl.
Welcome to the Sales Wolves Podcast. I am Joseph Caldwell, and this is
Tyler Harris.
And we are the Sales Wolves. Man, I'm excited about today's because we are talking about
the sales buddy
I was going to say each other.
system. We're buddies.
We're buddies.
Sales buddies. All right. So today we're talking about the sales buddy system. You always remember the sales buddy system. You don't go out and sell alone.
Alone. You got to have your buddy.
Never leave a man behind.
This is episode 29.
This is episode 29. We're almost at 30. Holy cow. Feels like 800.
29 is close to 30.
Oh, all right.
You're feeling rather smart today.
I am.
So, you moved into a new house?
I moved into a new house.
Awesome. Better than the other house?
A lot better.
You mean you didn't have to scale back after doing these sales talks? You've been shitty at sales?
After giving all this advice for free, we had to scale back.
Scale back. No, it's bad to the bone. It's downtown.
Yeah, it's nice.
Sold your house?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
You were just telling me you got an 80-inch TV surround system.
Oh, yeah.
You want to tell everybody how much it costs?
Shake the roof.
No, because Maitland will see this and be like, what?
There's somebody still tweaking the sound right now that's getting paid by the hour. And
oh, I can't. Yeah, they'll be there a while.
yeah, that's good.
That's good. All right. So let's talk
So
about
the sales buddy system. What we're talking about here is an accountability partner. Creating an accountability partner, how you find one, what's the best format for it. And so a couple of things we wanted to mention real quick right off the bat is the importance. So when you compare it to mentorship is more of like a hierarchical kind of like, I'm your mentor, you're my mentee. There's that part of that relationship, whereas a accountability partner is more of a peer-to-peer relationship. Yeah. And to me, it can be far more effective because you're both at similar levels. You're both going through similar things. Yep. You're not someone that's kind of like, hey, I'm going to teach you this, or I'm going to coach you on this. It's more of like a, hey, how did you handle this? Or this happened to me today, that kind of thing. So peer pressure in general is obviously a very powerful thing. But when harnessed in this way, through an accountability partner, that peer pressure from them and that competitiveness can ultimately drive you forward in a multitude of ways. And so that's kind of what we want to talk about
you
today.
And Cal Naughton Jr. I mean, that was
Cal Naughton.
Old Josh Ortegan. I love that dude.
Yeah.
He's got incredible business too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we'll both go through a couple of different examples of accountability partners that we've had, sales buddies that we've had.
Yep.
And I think it's important to note that as you evolve in your business, you'll have many of them.
Yeah.
Some you'll graduate from, some you'll graduate to, I think. Some that you'll kind of graduate together and you'll both kind of level up, and then you'll each find another person,
Yeah.
and some you'll just kind of leave in the dust.
Sure.
I mean, it's just the way it goes. But the important thing,
That's kind of like friendship. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
kind of like acquaintances. and
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like people you do Sales Wolf podcasts with.
It's left in the dust.
I just got left in the dust.
So one thing I wanted to mention here too, right off the bat, is often the best accountability partner doesn't necessarily have to be within your company. It doesn't even necessarily have to be in the same field of sales.
Industry,
if you're
doesn't have
looking
to be in
about
the same
sales,
industry.
it can be someone completely outside, and sometimes their perspective on what you're doing is invaluable because they can see it from a different lens, I guess. The things that you get just caught up in on the day-to-day, when they're seeing that with a fresh set of eyes, they can say, well, have you ever thought about this? And you're sitting there like,
Can't believe
I do
didn't
this
think of that.
every single day, and
Yeah.
I've never even thought about that. So that's some of the most valuable conversations I think you would agree that we can ever have with another person that's in a different field, is those conversations of, hey, have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about that? And being able to grow ultimately together with that person. And that's the whole point of this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Is for you to grow together.
Yep.
And so a couple things. The 3 qualities of a top-notch accountability partners. You want to go over those. So number 1, they match or exceed your skill set and motivational level.
Right.
This should be done in order to push you forward, not drag you down.
back. Yes.
So
Yeah,
you-
this is not. You're not a lifesaver for somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't go out and find the if you're in sales and you're looking for an accountability buddy like this in the sales buddy system, you don't go out and try to find the shittiest salesperson. You know what I'm saying? And go, well, maybe I can help them. If they could only do just what I can do, then maybe they could take care of their family. Maybe they could take care. You're not there to save this person.
Yep.
Right. So. But it doesn't mean that you're not there for this person when you have them. Like I think about Jeff Mag and myself early on. We were sales buddies.
Yeah.
Right? We called each other. I'd be in the middle of Georgia. Did I ever tell you about the time I called him it was about 1:30 in the morning, and I was so tired. I thought I had died because I was coming through the back way up. I think it's Highway 20 or up to Aiken,
Yeah.
South Carolina. It's a
Yeah.
back way going on some back road. I can't remember what road it was.
Yeah.
In Georgia, coming back, and all of a sudden there was such a thick fog, and I was going about 20 miles an hour, and I was like, dude, I think and I saw no cars. It had already been like 15, 20 minutes, not a single car, and everything's foggy, and then all of a sudden I started seeing deer everywhere. And I literally thought I had maybe crashed the car, and I was like, this was my deal, because I was like, oh my gosh. So I
You're
called.
just in this deer purgatory.
I started counting deer. I got up to 175. Dude, I'm not kidding you. I was
This
exhausted.
sounds like a dream.
I'm serious. So I call Mag on the phone. I'm like, Mag, you are not going to believe this, dude. I have counted to 175 deer. They're still everywhere. I'm having to go 10 and 15 miles an hour just creeping through the road to go around them. It was like a herd. And so when I called, he goes, Josie. He answered the phone. He's like, no, you're not. And I was like, dude, there's one running beside my car right now. It was running with me. And I rolled the window down, held the phone out the window, and you could hear it. I've never seen anything like it. This is a true story. So, and Mag goes, dude, that's unbelievable. So you have buddies along the way, and they'll answer the phone in the middle of the night when you're coming back from a sales meeting. And I don't know what the purpose of that story was, but I hope it helps somebody.
The moral of the story is don't drink and drive through the zoo.
Don't. Do not smoke and go driving through the zoo at 2 in the morning.
Oh my goodness! But so,
Back to this.
So as far as exceeding or meeting their skill set and motivation level, again, you don't want to be a mentor. You want to be a colleague. So
That's
you want
right.
to be on the
Yeah.
same level. And the important thing about this is you're going to be asked to be someone's accountability partner all the time if you're exceeding and doing well in your career. So you have to guard your time fiercely and guard those relationships. And sometimes you just have to say no.
Yeah.
The second thing is that this person is going to be reliable. Reliability, and I am figuring this out just more and more every day. Reliability is a very uncommon quality
Rare
to find in people.
It's a unicorn. These days.
People that will honor their word, like Tom Shea always talks about honoring your word. It's very uncommon. So the first part of that is you yourself had to be reliable.
That's right.
And then try to find someone else that also can be reliable to whatever that standard that you need in that relationship.
And most people that hear this right now, they'll go, "I'm reliable." No, you're not. I promise you, you're not. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I had to take a hard look in the mirror, and before you honor your word and become reliable to yourself, if you're not that to yourself, I promise you, you're not that to other people. And it's not a legalism type thing.
Yeah.
It's just do what you say you're gonna do. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway,
and then the
that's
third is
key.
they are willing to commit to a regular schedule. That could be a daily check-in. It could be weekly. It could be monthly. There's a whole lot of different formats, and it'll always evolve and it'll always change. But you want to make sure the other person's willing to commit to whatever type of schedule or format that you want to put together. I know Brian Kaysen, he had a accountability group that he had put together, and it was like 5 or 6 people from different areas that he kind of wanted as on his he called it like a
mastermind.
yeah, like you were on it for a little while, weren't you?
Yeah.
I was on as well. And so his was like very structured. It was like, hey, it's going to be a monthly call. We're going to go over this, 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 and this.
Yep.
I'm going to need your feedback on this. I'm going to give you this. Whereas others, it's just naturally a natural progression into an accountability. And that's I think how most of mine have been. It hasn't been very much. It hasn't been a very formal like, hey, Wendy, would you like to be my sales buddy?
Yeah.
You know, here's what we're going to do. Every day at 3 p.m., you're going to give me a call, and I'm going to whine and complain about my, sales performance that day, and you're going to cheer me up and tell me I can do it, and then I'm going to go. Yeah, it's not. It's just
not
kind
that.
of evolves into a relationship to where you have that person that you, when something happens, you think of calling, and you're like, oh, that's them.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah,
important.
especially, when you. And here's the thing: in this relationship, it should be predominantly a positive relationship. But I have had times where I needed to call somebody and go, "You're not gonna." I just got my lunch handed to me.
Absolutely.
Because it's lonely, man. Sales is a lonely deal most of the time. When you're out there, you're on the road, or you're typically not going to an appointment with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a you get rejection. Anytime you've got rejection and loneliness, that's a hard deal. That's why most people don't make it in sales with those two factors.
I was just thinking, I don't know why I just thought of this, some saying. Remember that saying was like sales is a contact sport? You remember that? You remember people saying that? No. Contact thinking like physical, but it's a contact as in like one-on-one interaction. No. Okay.
Deep Thoughts by Tyler Harris.
So this kind of goes right into our next topic here, which is tips for picking an accountability. Like I was just saying, be clear on what you want and what you need. You got to set the expectations out up front in order to be able to do that. Here's an interesting one. So don't use a friend. I think a lot of people will quickly
we can still
look
do it
at.
then.
That's why we work so well together. It's because we hate each other. But
we're sworn enemies, so we do this very well.
But you want someone that's going to be objective, someone that's going to not care about getting your feelings hurt, or not care about hurting your feelings if you're doing something that's not right. A lot of times a friend will have a hard time in doing that.
Yeah, but being blunt in that type of situation is key for me.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
I need people, and the more successful you get, the less people will be blunt with you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely need that, somebody that goes, hey, that's just a big excuse. You realize that, right? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So they'll just call you out on certain things, which is good.
Yeah.
Everybody needs that. All right.
Next one is don't assume because you like someone that they'll be a good partner.
Oh yeah.
That it needs to again be more objective in those what makes that person a good business person, a good salesperson, it's just someone that you want to build that relationship with. It's not necessarily that, hey, I just like them, they're fun to be around, but what can they provide you, and then what can you, of course, be able to provide them. And then lastly, find someone that you respect and whose word carries weight for you.
True.
It's important that you respect each other's professional sensibility to find out how you can contribute to them, how they can contribute to you. But if their word carries weight to you, it'll push you to act on the things that they're saying, or to at least respect the things that they're saying, because you know it's coming from a place of success. It's coming from a place of, hey, they've probably done that, and this is what happened to them. So they're telling you this from experience. Those types of things are super important. So
taking pictures.
Let's see what else here.
One of the God, what was I just thought of something that I needed to mention, and then I forgot it when Spielberg was taking pictures.
You know, one thing that's been important for me for having an accountability partner is when you're in sales, a lot of what you're celebrating, a lot of the successes are monetary. I was going to say monetarily. That's why I just said monetary in such a strange way. Are monetary. But they're monetary in terms of the amount of commission you just made on a deal, the amount of money you just made in a quarter or in a month. And it's just not socially acceptable to be at like a dinner party and be like, hey, what's up, man? Dude, I closed this deal today, 17 grand in commission today.
Boom.
And they're gonna be like, what a dick. Like,
this
guy. But
you can't share that.
It is so important to me to be able to have someone that I can be like, look, dude, I just closed this huge deal today, made 12 grand. And for that person to be like, heck yeah, dude, that's freaking awesome.
To be
like,
genuinely excited for you, and that's hard to find. That's a key in this.
That's one thing for me. Joshua Ortegan always was, and he used to even say that. He's like, I love hearing other people succeed, you know, because it's contagious and it's good. And there's just something about a person that hears something and then takes that and is like, oh, good for you. You know, hey, that's great. You know, but someone that's willing to celebrate with you and not feel awkward when you're in those situations of telling them and then their reaction. It is, because I mean, even like with a spouse, like I don't necessarily want to come home and be like, hey babe, I made $8,200 in commissions today, or hey, I just had my best month ever. Like, it's just like, But if you have someone that you can celebrate with, that knows what your goals are and that knows where you're headed, and also is celebrating in their successes as well, that to me, it's almost like, that to me is almost more important than being able to just vent to someone. It's like being able to vent the successes, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because you can't. It's not socially acceptable to.
You can't get on Facebook and be like, "Boom, just made 200 grand this quarter." And they're like, "Screw you!" Like it makes you look like you're like showing off.
I already have people that I'll get messages sometimes on social media like, "Well, that's easy for you to say because you're the CEO of blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
They don't know what you went through. They don't know what it's like. They don't. So it's good to have that. And man, we've always been that. That's one thing.
Yep.
Yeah, we can definitely. I cheer you on when you make money, because when you make money, I make money. So I'm freaking happy.
I'm trying to figure out how to flip that.
Oh, we have.
So the last thing I want to talk about, and this is a little bit off subject, but it goes with accountability, is to me, the next level of accountability is public accountability.
Yeah.
It becomes very, very different when you start speaking your goals and you start speaking these things that you want to come to fruition publicly, and then allowing other people to keep you accountable publicly.
Yep.
So for me, like Facebook Live, every time I get on Facebook Live when I'm going to be gone for a week selling, and when I get on there Sunday night or Monday morning and I say, my goal for this week is to sell this many policies or to make this much commission. And when I do updates throughout the week and tell people, hey, my goal is 100 policies, I'm at 37. My goal is 100 policies, I'm now at 52. My goal is 100 policies and it's just finished day 3 and I'm at 68, which means I'm behind schedule, which means tomorrow I've got to really amp it up because I gotta do 32 more. That is the biggest accountability tool I've ever been able to utilize in my life.
Well, what it does is it removes your ability to lie to yourself and sell yourself on not hitting your goal.
Yep.
Right.
That's exactly.
Now you may fail at it.
Yeah.
And I didn't read that. I just it's inherent wisdom coming out.
I know you didn't read my notes.
But we do. We sell ourselves on not hitting it, especially if there's nobody. Like if I didn't have to get back on there and be like, look, I wussed out this week. The goal was 100. I'd quit 3 days in, man. I only got 42.
Yep.
If I had to tell somebody that, yeah, it's a different ball game.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. And so that's what I wrote down here. I said humans have the amazing ability to talk ourselves into or out of nearly anything. Whether it's taking on a new project, launching a business, some type of life change, your brain will do everything in its power to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't be doing that thing. But by making whatever you're working on public and asking for accountability, you tell your brain to shut up. If you've never done this before, this will seem foreign or uncomfortable, but the uncomfortable feeling is your brain resisting what you're doing. You have to embrace those feelings of discomfort and put yourself out there. Within our company, we use Voxer. It's like a walkie-talkie app, and that's what we encourage them to do on that. Hey, get there on Monday, set out your goal, and then just do one little update each day. Hey, my goal was 50. I'm at 12. I'm at 27. I'm at 39. Hey, I just passed my goal. I think I got more to do. I'm going to bump my goal up to 65 and see if I can hit that. Being able to do that in a public they talk about all the time. You write out your goals, write out your New Year's resolutions, write out all these things. It's exponentially greater chance of you achieving them. To me, though, speaking them publicly, I don't know the research or the science on it, but it's got to be even further exponential growth in the chance of you actually achieving it. Because when you're talking about it, when that kind of encompasses the whole law of attraction. When you start putting that stuff out there, especially when you start having people, as you build a social media following, you have people that'll be like, all right, man, like you're halfway there, like great job, like thinking about you, like hope you crush your goals this week. Like it just creates a scenario to where almost like, I mean, you got to put the work in, but you can't not succeed because you're putting it out there. And it would be very interesting for someone to just do that for an entire year. Say, my goal this year is to do this, and literally every day keep people updated.
God,
would be phenomenal. That's why they talk about, Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about the other day, that there's so many businesses out there that are starting that will fail. But if they just documented the process of starting the business, that even when it failed, he's like, it's still going to fail because it's not a great idea. But he's like, but even when it fails, by documenting that whole process of starting a business and then it ultimately not working out, will land them somewhere else in such a higher position. Or will make it to where the next business that they launch, they'll already have that following.
All great things happen through failure. All great things happen through failure. But anyway,
So that's pretty much it. So the sales buddy system, again, is just an accountability partner that you need to have. Do you have any that you wanted to mention? Just some relationships.
That for me and then has been throughout the last 10 years.
Is that when you first met him?
Okay. And God, I talked to him this morning. And,
he fired me from a job once.
I know. We laugh about that.
I can laugh now.
You know he may come work here. Yeah, that would be awesome, man. And do all the group stuff nationwide. That would be really cool if that works out. But
if that works out, as though if this doesn't get out first, and just we shouldn't have said that. Whoever employer is right now, hopefully you're not watching. We're gonna cut that part of it.
Boom! Got to take that out. So
who else has a job we might be hiring?
Just have it blipped out of there. Just the name. Yeah. Holy crap. That's hilarious.
Who else is thinking about leaving their current employer? Let's get a list here. I can think of one other.
Let's write these down and name them one and then pump it out through social media.
Make sure you tag the employer.
Yeah. I can think of a surefire way to free his future up.
Fast forward to minute 27. We've been wanting to make the jump, but it's really just helped us speed that process up. We're going to need to see you in the office.
Oh crap! Me and Nathan have been that way.
Yeah,
Nathan and I've been that way a lot, and then Jeff and me, and God, it's through the years, man. That's how we've done it.
It's funny to me. Like I have some that I don't even talk to all that. Like to me, like Chris Young is one for me.
Yeah.
It's just because every time I talk to him, it's like we just talked that morning, and you just
Right.
like pick right back up
Yeah.
from when it could have been a month prior.
Sure.
But it's just that being on the same wavelength, I think, as
Makes
the
a big
person. He being a huge alpha sales wolf type person.
Big time.
Wendy's a huge one for me. It's just those people that you know, like whatever you're going through, good, bad, that you can pick up. So Ray Dietrich is a big one of
yeah.
mine. That you can just call and that they're going to
Ray's
be
a crusher too, man. He's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great job.
His daughter just started college. Isn't that crazy?
What?
Yeah,
That
she's
is
at like
insane.
University of California, one of the California campuses.
Berkeley.
Yeah, it's
My
crazy.
my middle daughter just turned 13
Yeah, that's crazy.
yesterday. So I have a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old.
Arden turns
11.
a year old in 23 days or 22 days or 21 days. That's nuts.
crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like you just gave birth.
I know. I feel like I don't even know where I was going with that. All right. So this
Sales Buddy.
was episode 29, the Sales Buddy System. Hey, if you're getting anything from these podcasts, which we hope you are,
Even if
especially-
it's just a laugh, right?
Yeah.
Because we want to make people laugh too.
Absolutely. But if you
Tyler
could
makes people
share
laugh by looking
this
at him.
podcast on Facebook, on Instagram, on whatever platform that you like to use the most. But we would love for you to leave us a review on iTunes. That really helps us grow that audience. And so if you could do that, just search on iTunes, Sales Wolves Podcast. And with that, I am Tyler Harris,
Joseph Caldwell.
and we are the Sales Wolves.
Ow!